ජීවිතේ වැඩිපුර ලැබෙන හොඳම දේවල් විඳින්න. දැන් SLT broadband වෙතින් 75% දක්වා වැඩිපුර data සතුට ජනවාරි 1 වෙනිදා සිට ශ්‍රී ලංකා ටෙලිකොම්.
Popular choice. TV Derana bags 4 awards and is crowned the People's Television Channel of the Year at the Slim Nielsen People's Awards. Probing the root cause. Before embarking on a visit to India, the President determines to appoint a presidential commission with 3 retired judges to probe the Kandy unrest. Tug of war. The Tamil diaspora and the Global Sri Lankan Forum go head-to-head in Geneva.
9 years after the war, the Sri Lankan government has still done nothing.
Terrorists destroyed human rights of not only Sinhalese but also of Muslim and Tamils. Now, what have you done to us?
IMF mission. While predicting Sri Lanka's growth at 4.4% this year, IMF says protectionist trade regime should be gradually liberalised. Great guns. Sri Lanka turns in a strong batting display in the Nidahas Trophy against Bangladesh. Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhammika Ekanaika. It was truly a good day for TV Derana yesterday as it clinched 4 awards, including the People's Television Channel of the Year at the Slim Nielsen People's Awards 2018 last evening in Colombo. It is one of the most awaited award ceremonies which felicitate brands and personalities.
Slim Nielsen People's Awards 2018.
The 13th edition of the Slim Nielsen Awards was held in Colombo yesterday with the participation of various distinguished guests. TV Derana swept the board at the awards night with 4 awards and accordingly won the People's Television Channel of the Year.
Put your hands together for Derana TV Derana, everybody! TV Derana!
Youth Television Channel of the Year was also won by TV Derana.
TV Derana!
The teledrama Sidhu, telecast by TV Derana, won the award for the People's Teledrama of the Year.
It is the People's Teledrama of the Year, Sidhu.
Nayanthara Vikramarachi and Shanudri Priyasad of Devani Inima, also telecast on TV Derana, was joint winners of the Teledrama Actress of the Year award. In the meantime, nominations were announced for the Raigam Telly's 2017 last evening. Numerous media personalities and artists joined the occasion. The exposure of the murder of Dalaputua and the Tusk Pearl racket, produced by Adaderana Ukussa, is nominated for the award in the Best Investigative News Reporting category. Meanwhile, Vasantina Nayakara from Adaderana is nominated for the award of the Best Female Newsreader of the Year. Vadapitiya, directed by Kaushalya Dissanayaka, is nominated for the Best Political Discussion Television Program of the Year. Among the nominees of the Best Musical Program of the Year are programs Sinhagiri Studio and Manovanama, produced by Chintaka Gamlat. Meanwhile, Kinduru Kumariyo, directed by Anuradha Sigera, is nominated for the Best Dubbed Television Program of the Year. Teledramas Supahansita and Sasalavila are nominated in the Best Teledrama category. Derana Dream Star Season 8, produced by Krishanti Rajika, and Derana Star City Season 2, produced by Subodhani Karuna Nayaka, are nominated for the Best Reality Show of the Year. The 14th Raigam Telly's awards ceremony is scheduled to be held on the 24th of this month at the Nelumpokana Theatre in Colombo.
President Maithripala Sirisena today left for India for a 2-day official visit. The head of state will attend the inauguration of the International Solar Alliance's founding summit.
The first summit of the International Solar Alliance is to be jointly launched by the French President Emmanuel Macron and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Around 500 representatives of a large number of countries, including heads of states, will participate in the summit. Prime Minister Modi had announced the hosting of the summit by India during the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland on 30th of November in 2015. The summit expects to create a common stage to take decisions regarding the development of the field, including expanding the technology needed to fulfill the solar power requirements while reducing the costs of solar power projects. President Maithripala Sirisena arrived at the Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi as he was received by the Secretary to the Western Bloc, Ruchigan Shyam. Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Taranjit Singh Sandhu and Sri Lankan High Commissioner to India Chitrangani Vagiswara were also present. According to the President's media division, the President will hold discussions with the Indian President, Prime Minister and some other heads of state that will attend the summit.
Now, human rights organizations are being given the chance to put forth facts on behalf of Sri Lanka at the 37th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council. Taking the opportunity, the Global Sri Lankan Forum that is responded to a multitude of views expressed by the Tamil diaspora on human rights issues in the island.
The 37th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council is currently underway in Geneva. It commenced on the 26th of February and will run through to the 23rd of March. Yesterday's session saw the Global Sri Lankan Forum responding to comments made on issues in Sri Lanka by the Tamil diaspora.
9 years after the war, the Sri Lankan government has still done nothing to provide us with answers we so desperately seek. We have sat roadside in terrible conditions through heat, rain and dust. One aim to obtain truth and justice for our disappeared loved ones. We call on you and the members of the Council to pressure Sri Lanka to address our demands and release the list of surrendees, detainees and secret detention centers from during and after the armed conflict. Demands which the President agreed to in June 2017 but failed to fulfill. Please help us find our children.
Terrorists destroyed human rights of not only Sinhalese but also of Muslim and Tamils. After the war, IDPs were resettled, mines were cleared, North was rapidly developed, raising the growth rate to 22% when it was only 7 elsewhere. Local government elections were held after 30 years. That's how we protected human, political, civil and economic rights of Tamils. Now, what have you done to us? You passed a resolution without putting it to a debate and a vote and charge us with war crime and genocide. Our soldiers defeated terrorists, rescuing Tamil civilians kept as a human shield, largest human rescue operation in the world. We request the Council to assess the OISL report that's full of contradictions, obfuscation and lies. We ask the Council to prevent geopolitical blocs from using human rights as a tool to target countries like Sri Lanka.
Now we move on to one of the most sensitive as well as one of the most talked about topics in the recent past, the Kandy unrest. President Maithripala Sirisena has decided to appoint a presidential commission to probe the incidents that sparked violent unrests in several areas of the Kandy district. President's media division says that 3 retired judges are to be appointed for the new presidential commission in the near future. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe instructed authorities to provide compensation of 500,000 rupees for each family who lost their loved ones during the recent unrest.
The curfew that was reimposed since 8 p.m. last evening within the Kandy Administrative District, which excluded the area under the Kandy Urban Council's jurisdiction, was lifted at 5 a.m. today. Daily lives in the district are returning to normal and all schools are to reopen from this Monday. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe engaged in an observational tour in Kengala, Digana, Pallevela and Akurana, where most of the incidents related to violence were reported. The newly appointed Minister of Law and Order Ranjith Maduma Bandara, Ministers Lakshman Kiriyalla, Rauf Hakim, M.H.A. Halim, Ruwan Vijayawardena and IGP Pujit Jayasundara was also present.
These are the state areas. Still, police, they don't support people. Still safe. The night also there are some around the people, they are doing something. But these cats are, people are running to jungle.
given the names also.
Discussion regarding the estimation of damages and compensation related to the incidents were held at the Kandy District Secretariat.
As per the information received so far, costs incurred by damages to 465 properties, including religious places, stores and houses, have to be estimated. There are 87 completely destroyed places, with another 196 partially destroyed places and 182 places with slight damages. Can we estimate the costs within a week?
Then
finish up everything you can by Friday. Then compensation must be given to 3 families who lost their loved ones. Give them the compensation by Monday. Give them 100,000 rupees for the time being, but after meeting with the Cabinet of Ministers next week, we'll give them extra 400,000 rupees. The driver who passed away had a family with a wife and 2 children. One of these children is a differently abled child. With the driver's death, they lost their only income. And the victim in the area of Pujapitiya has a son who is studying in grade 5. His wife is pregnant. They too lost their only source of income. We need to look into how we can help these families. Yes, but we have to give them a source of income. I will also look into the case of Ambatana victim. 14 mosques have been damaged. We should pay all of these compensation according to damages. You should specifically focus on Kengal, where most of the damage occurred. Then there is a temple which have partial damages. We should pay them compensation as well. And then let's pay 100,000 rupees as initial compensation for each business place that is damaged. And for houses, 50,000 rupees each. Let's instruct all banks to ease reclaiming their loan interests for the time being. Vigana is where the headquarters of the Mahasen Balakai organization is situated. I always felt they would aggravate the situation. I always asked the police to implement a special security program in the area and specifically asked them not to let anybody from outside come into these areas. But the police didn't care. There was a plan and it was led by a politician in the area. Certain police officials themselves have said to the responsible people that they have only 1 hour to carry out an assault. That's how these things were aggravated. Now we can't say all the police officers were involved in this, but we have to agree that some of them neglected their job. An investigation must be conducted. The country's name was disgraced and we need to know who did this.
Meanwhile, representatives of all political parties led by Speaker Karu Jayasuriya visited chief prelates of Malwatha and Asgiri chapters today. They later held discussions with Islamic religious representatives at the governor's office of the central province.
We've arrested 183 people so far. We will take severe action against those who are responsible while making sure nothing as such would happen again in the country.
Meanwhile, leader of the JVP MP Anurakumara Disanayaka also engaged in an observational tour in the Akurana area today.
The government was involved in this only to aggravate the situation. They had all the resources to understand how the situation would have unfolded. The government only intervened after things were aggravated.
Meanwhile, a special discussion was held at the Presidential Secretariat between President Maithripala Sirisena and foreign diplomats yesterday, where they also focused on the current situation in Kandy. President emphasized that he had instructed police and relevant security officials to take severe action against those who are responsible in the recent incidents. President also decided to appoint a presidential commission comprising of 3 retired judges to probe into the recent unrest. Meanwhile, a special information center has been set up at the police headquarters to receive information on persons or groups responsible for these incidents. Accordingly, public can provide information via the phone numbers 011 3024 892 or 011 3024 883 or the email address phqops@police.lk.
Meanwhile, the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission says the temporary restrictions imposed on the usage of social media platforms, including Facebook, WhatsApp and Viber, has not been lifted yet. Internet service providers also say that as per the instructions given by the TRC, internet access of both 4G and 3G have been restricted for the Kandy district until further notice. TRC temporarily blocked all social media platforms on the 7th of March following requests made by the Defence Ministry. Meanwhile, Ceylon Motorcyclists Association filed a complaint at the UN Human Rights Council against the President and the Defence Secretary. Now moving on to other local stories, Deputy Minister of Health Faisal Kazim reveals that a team of cardiosurgeons from India will arrive in Sri Lanka during April to lend their assistance in improving and developing liver transplants. He was speaking at the Health First conference held in Colombo yesterday.
Health First National Conference of Initiating into Recent Developments in Health Sector was held under the patronage of Minister of Health, Nutrition and Indigenous Medicine, Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, and Deputy Minister of Health, Faisal Kazim, at the BMICH yesterday. Speaking at the event, the Deputy Minister elaborated on the endeavours of the government to develop the health sector in the country.
We should have the regional specialized hospitals where we to give the service in the region itself. I didn't say that we have been fulfilled. We are lack of facilities on the provincial sector. Where on the 13th amendment, a central government department can't give any fund to the provincial funds or any ministry or whatever. So we want to have an autism center, which last 3 years we are unable to establish a main center in Sri Lanka. So we had a problem of lack of land. Last week I had to meet the land minister and we have requested land to develop for autism in the Sri Lankan sector. And also we have been planned to develop the autism in the provinces, to build up provincial centers.
Let's take a look at some other stories making news across Sri Lanka.
Southern Provincial Councillor of the UPFA, M.K. KASUN, and his wife, arrested for assaulting a private bus driver, are remanded until the 13th. The Provincial Councillor is accused of stopping a private bus at the Koswatha junction in THALANDAMA and assaulting the driver while his wife held a pistol. In the meantime, the son of parliamentarian Keheliya Rambukwella, Ramit Rambukwella, was arrested by police last night. Police say the parliamentarian's son's car collided with a motorbike and the incident led to him attacking two people who were on the motorbike. Police added that the suspect was under the influence of alcohol and will be produced before the Hulsdorf Magistrates Court. UNP parliamentarian Anandalut Gamage staged a protest in front of the police station in Navalapitiya in protest of the OIC not accompanying him during an observational tour of the area. The parliamentarian was attempting to ascertain the security level in the area around 3 in the morning, and his protest came to an end following a discussion with the OIC. 2 leopard cubs were found from the Greg estate in DIMBULAPATHANA and they were handed over to the wildlife officials in Nuwara Eliya. With the discovery of the cubs, locals requested more security from authorities in fear of more leopard encounters. A 3-year-old elephant calf found in a dry irrigation well was rescued by the joint efforts of the wildlife officials and the Nochiagama Divisional Secretariat. The elephant calf was trapped inside the well for 2 days and was rescued following a 3-hour operation.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Derana 24/7.
Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, Minister of Megapolis and Western Development, Partli Champigaranamaka, revealed government's plan to allocate a 15-acre block of land in Homagama for the establishment of the proposed National Space Hub. Speaking at the ARC-GIS user conference held in Colombo recently, the minister went on to explain that the Space Hub will be used to receive and distribute Earth observation satellite data for the country.
Sri Lanka ARC-GIS user conference was held recently under the theme GIS Enabling the Digital Transformation of the Nation. The conference brought users and professionals of geographic information system in the country together on a national level to highlight their work and educate them on new developments of the technology.
geographic information systems technologies, since they are coming into existence, have developed in tandem with two other technologies. They come within the broad definition of space technology applications and are satellite-based. I am glad to note here two national initiatives that are currently in progress, which are aimed to facilitate the growth of remote sensing and geographic information systems applications in the country. The first one is the Initiative for Development of National Spatial Data Infrastructure. The second one is the proposed National Hub of Receiving and Distribution of Earth Observation Satellite Data, which is being implemented by the Arthur C. Clarke Institute for Modern Technology. The National Space Hub is intended to have a fully fledged ground station complex for receiving, processing, and distribution of Earth observation satellite data received from global Earth observation satellites. We have made arrangement to allocate 15-acre block of land in Homagama within the Technocity to be developed under the Western Megapolis Development Project for this National Space Hub.
Now, the International Monetary Fund set Sri Lanka's growth expectations for this year at 4.4%, observing that the country's economy is gradually normalising following a series of weather-related shocks in 2017. In its concluding statement following the latest staff visit to Sri Lanka, the IMF mission said reforms have progressed under its economic reform program, but the economy remains vulnerable to adverse shocks given the sizable public debt and low external buffers. Further discussions on the extended fund facilities supported program for Sri Lanka will continue in April in Washington, D.C. during the spring meeting of the IMF and the World Bank.
An IMF staff team led by Manuela Goretti undertook a visit in Colombo from February 27th to March 9th to hold discussions for the 2018 Article 4 consultation and advance the technical work on the fourth review of Sri Lanka's economic reform program under the 3-year extended fund facility. The mission met with Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, State Minister of Finance Iran Wickramaratne, State Minister of National Policies and Economic Affairs Dr. Harsha De Silva, Governor of the Central Bank Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy and other public officials and representatives of the business community, civil society as well as international partners during this period. In its concluding statement, the mission notes that the country's economy is gradually normalizing after a series of weather-related setbacks last year, and thereby IMF expects real GDP growth to rise to 4.4% in 2018, supported by a recovery in agriculture and industry as well as a robust growth in services reaching 5% over the medium term. According to preliminary findings, Sri Lanka's inflation is projected to revert to around 5% by the end of this year. Noting that fiscal consolidation is advancing, while the central bank has been effective in curbing credit growth and stabilizing inflation, the IMF, however, highlighted that the economy remains vulnerable to adverse shocks owing to a sizable public debt and low external buffers. It therefore recommends the country's policy framework and institutions must be further strengthened, with authorities pushing ahead with Sri Lanka's Vision 2025 strategy. The IMF highlights 3 key priorities that the government should focus on: advancing fiscal consolidation through stronger fiscal rules and governance of state-owned enterprises, modernization of monetary, financial and exchange rate policy framework, and a celebration of structural reforms to promote inclusive growth. While commending on new Inland Revenue Act as a major achievement towards an effective tax system, the IMF called for its smooth implementation to improve the investment climate. Towards fiscal consolidation beyond 2020, the IMF mission says a well-designed fiscal rule can help place debt firmly on a downward path. It, however, warned that the government should be vigilant against a build-up of systematic risks in the financial sector. The mission also observes that Sri Lanka must gradually liberalize protectionist trade regime through reform of tariffs, para-tariffs and non-tariff barriers, as well as closer regional integration.
Now, the Nasdaq blasted through a record high yesterday as traders looking to ride recent momentum pile into Microsoft, Netflix, Amazon.com and other high-performance technology names. The rise came alongside a broad rally in the market. The S&P 500 index and Dow Jones Industrial Average also rose sharply, up 1.5% as February's job report assuaged fears of inflation and aggressive interest rate hikes. The gains came 9 years to the day since a bull market began. Those stocks stock moves helped push the Nasdaq Composite Index up 1.4% to 7,532 points, which is about 1/3% higher than its previous all-time high on January 26th. Now, moving on to one of the shocking stories of the day, a one-day-old infant who was reported missing from the Vaunia hospital yesterday was found at the General Hospital in Anuradhapura today. A woman residing in Kapithigolla was thereafter arrested over charges of kidnapping the infant. Vaunia police say that they will seek a court order to conduct a DNA test to determine the infant's biological mother.
A woman yesterday stated that her newly born infant at the Vaunia hospital was missing.
Since morning, I was sitting on a bench inside the ward with my baby. Then I kept my baby on the bed and went to the bathroom to change my clothes to go home. But when I returned, my baby was missing. But the pair of socks, cap and bag was still there. Then I ran screaming to the security office and the baby wasn't there either. The nurses came after hearing me screaming and we looked for the baby everywhere, but to no avail.
However, in a backdrop of ongoing police investigations, a 21-year-old woman from Vahalkada in Kapithigolla admitted the baby boy to the General Hospital in Anuradhapura today, claiming that the infant's skin had turned yellow. Upon admission, hospital staff of Anuradhapura had informed the Vaunia hospital about the infant due to suspicion over documents relevant to child's birth. Accordingly, the hospital police unit questioned the woman who claimed to be the mother of the infant, and she revealed during the inquiry that the biological mother handed over the infant to her. Upon further questioning, the woman had revealed that she stole the child as she had no children of her own. Police investigations revealed that the woman who abducted the infant had faked her pregnancy to the relatives. However, Vaunia police decided to obtain a court order tomorrow to carry out a DNA investigation. The hospital staff have decided to place the child at the neonatal intensive care unit of the Anuradhapura hospital until the DNA report is received.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.
Welcome back. Now let's see what's happening around the world. Governor of Florida in US, Rick Scott, yesterday signed into law a bill from the legislature that raises the legal age for buying rifles, imposes a 3-day waiting period on all gun sales, and allows the arming of some school employees. The Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act is named after the school in Parkland, Florida, at which a gunman with a semi-automatic style assault rifle killed 17 people, including students, on the 14th of February. The National Rifle Association, however, has sued Florida after it passed a gun control law.
Student survivors from the Parkland shooting had advocated for some of the new restrictions passed by the legislature over the objections of the powerful gun lobbying organization, the National Rifle Association. But the legislature decided against including one of their chief demands, a ban on semi-automatic assault-style rifles of the kind used to kill their classmates. Among the most scrutinized measures of the new law is a program allowing school staff to be trained and armed to defend against future shootings.
I'm an NRA member, and I was an NRA member when I became governor. I'm going to be an NRA member when I'm not governor. I'm sure there's NRA members that agree with this bill, some that don't agree with this bill. But the way I think about it, I'm going to do what I think are common sense solutions. The common sense things as a father, as a grandfather, as a governor is we need to have law enforcement in our schools. We need to harden our schools. We need more mental health counseling.
Let's take a look at some other stories making news from across the world.
French President Emmanuel Macron said today that he wanted French to be New Delhi's best partner in Europe, an entry point for the continent, a position currently held by Britain, as he began his 4-day tour of India. Macron was addressing reporters in New Delhi after he was accorded a ceremonial welcome at the red sandstone forecourts of the British-era presidential palace. Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull said today that he is pleased US President Donald Trump is working on an agreement to ensure Australia will not be subject to US tariffs on steel and aluminium. The United States opened the way for more exemptions from its steel and aluminium tariffs yesterday after pressure from allies and intense lobbying from lawmakers, further diluting the measures just a day after they were formally announced. 2 trapped whales were freed from a fishing net in the high sea after a massive effort by El Salvador authorities recently. A fisherman altered authorities that a mother whale and her offspring were trapped in a net off the northwestern shore of the Central American country. Members of the Coast Guard and the Navy responded to the area near Los Cubanos, located the mammals and were able to free the baby calf immediately. Wildlife Conservation Society yesterday shared a rare video of a western lowland gorilla and its infant in their natural habitat in Congo. Conservationists captured this video of female gorilla Mekomi and her offspring in the rainforest of a national park. The scientists who captured the video believe that the baby gorilla was barely a week old.
Time for sport. Now, the cricketing encounter between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh in the third match of the T20 series, Tri-Nation series rather, between the Nidahas Trophy is currently underway at the R. Premdasa Stadium in Colombo. Winning the toss, Bangladesh invited Sri Lanka to bat first. Sri Lankan openers Dhanushka Gunatilaka and Kusal Mendis built a 56-run partnership for the first wicket. Coming in at number 3, Kusal Perera played a brilliant knock of 74 and led the Sri Lankans to a mammoth total of 214 for the loss of 6 wickets. Bangladesh, in their reply, is currently 56 or more like 63 runs for the loss of, in fact, they have not yet lost a single wicket. Good on them.
The new batsman. Oh, that's a powerful strike. Swing and a miss, and they won't get a single against Bangladesh.
Now moving on to some school cricket, the second day of the 139th Battle of the Blues between St Thomas's College and Royal College saw Royalists posting a sender lead of 12 runs over the counterparts. In the meantime, another cricketing encounter, the 68th Battle of the Goals between St Sebastian's College and Prince of Wales College, concluded in a draw.
The 139th Battle of the Blues between St Thomas College and Royal College got underway yesterday. Batting first, St Thomas College managed 166 runs for the loss of 9 wickets before declaring their first innings. Resuming the day on 33 for 3, in their first innings today, Royal College battled to 178 before being all out at the end of the day's play. Tomorrow is the third day of the match and both sides got their second innings in hand. In the meantime, the 68th Battle of the Goals between St Sebastian's College and Prince of Wales College ended in a draw today. Batting first, St Sebastian's College posted 159 all out. Resuming their first innings today at 76 for 3, the Cambrians managed to extend their total to 227 for 7 wickets and declared the innings. Launching their second innings, Sebastianites could only manage 156 for 6 at the end of the day's play.
Watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel, Derana 24/7.
Big match fever. Now, let's cross over to Shanella Fernando at the Derana Weather Centre for your Forecast First evening edition.
A very good evening and welcome to Forecast First. Your temperatures for tomorrow will range between 20 and 32 degrees Celsius, with the lowest yet again expected in the Central Hills. We're looking at the map. A low pressure zone will form from the east of the island and will gradually disappear. Well, no signs of a sunny weather reported tomorrow, as many areas of the north, including Jaffna, Manna and Vaunia, will experience showers. Coming a bit down, Kandy, Colombo, Galle and Matara as well as Hambantota will also experience showers. That's all we have from the Weather Centre tonight. Up next is your City by City forecast.
And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. And before we go, we'd like to leave you some visuals of the butterfly jungle of the San Diego Zoo in California. The walk-through aviary has been transformed into a temporary home for over 30 species of butterflies. Hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.
the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.